in interesting times. This week's stories. In Hawaii, some lessons learned on overseas voting are being addressed by the Philippine Consulate General in Honolulu. In Japan, Flower Festival in Tokyo paints happy hues. In Canada, Toronto Comic Arts Festival celebrates emerging artists. Plus, in Texas, Edinburgh Teacher of the Year says families must be invested in child's learning. And in California, the Los Angeles Festival of Books takes young readers on a journey. Hello everyone, I'm Alan Basoyahe bringing you stories from around the globe. And this is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Eagle News correspondent Alfred Acenas visited the Philippine Consulate General in Honolulu to know more about the outcome on the Philippine midterm elections held several days ago in his part of the world. Take a look.
Well, since midterm election po ito, yung turnout natin na hindi kasing taas kumpara sa presidential election. But we still did well for Honolulu, which has under its jurisdiction around 12,800 registered voters. We had a turnout of a little over 17%. So mahigit na 2,100 yun.
The votes may have been cast and counted and the winners announced. But the Philippine midterm elections, as far as the government is concerned, is far from over. As various agencies and offices, such as the Philippine Consulate General here in Honolulu, are now faced with the daunting task of reviewing procedures, drawing lessons learned, with the hopes of improving their services in the next election season.
Ang mga opisyal po natin, we did media interviews to inform our kababayans about the election, the 2019 election, and remind them of what they need to do for our registered voters. And also dun sa mga website natin at sa websites ng ibang foreign service posts, andun din naman po lahat ng informasyon na kailangan malaman ng ating mga registered voters.
Deputy Consul General Escalona acknowledged the various challenges in reaching out to voters dispersed throughout the Hawaiian Islands and as far away as American Samoa.
Nako, dahil malayo sila at ang flight sa American Samoa, it's only once a week, yun ang medyo challenging. We tried to send out the ballots as soon as we could, but unfortunately, we got our ballots from COMELEC rather late towards the end of March, so medyo huli rin ang pagpapadala natin sa ating mga registered voters. At marami rin pala tayong yung return to sender na mga balota, yung pinadala namin. According to the US Postal Service, either wrong address, no such number, or vacant. Kaya pinost po namin itong mga pangalan ng mga voters na ito, but unfortunately, we got few response informing us of the correct or new addresses.
She also highlighted some suggestions from voters and even colleagues from the embassy in Washington, D.C. and other consulates.
Meron po tayo mga na-receive na suggestions. For example, dahil postal voting tayo dito sa Honolulu, some were saying that the return envelope should already be stamped so that they don't need to put stamps any longer. In fact, marami tayong mail na kulang ang stamps. Kaya medyo nagtagal sa post office. Kinuha pa namin doon at binayaran na rin namin. Pero ang suggestion po ng iba, gawin na lang self-addressed return envelopes na may stamps na. Yes, among our colleagues, we were saying that we hope that next election, padala sa amin ng mas maaga ang mga balota at election paraphernalia. We also hope that we'll avoid yung pag-register na ang sinusulat ng mga address doon ay care of the Philippine Embassy or Philippine Consulate. Kasi marami rin po ito. I think we have more than 1,500 for Honolulu out of the 12,800 na care of the Philippine Consulate. So, konti rin po yung nagsabi sa amin kung ano yung kanilang address.
Ms. Escalona described the way forward in improving the overseas voting process, indicating a need for closer coordination and planning with the Commission on Elections, as well as allocating more time for voters to register and make an informed decision when casting their ballots.
Ang ginagawa po namin ngayon, our post and other posts in the US, we're consolidating our assessment of the 2019 overseas voting so that we will have recommendations for the next election. So ginagawa po namin yan, and hopefully, as I said, we begin the preparations earlier from the training of our personnel who are deputized by COMELEC to do the election functions, to the sending of ballots and paraphernalia. We would like to work with COMELEC on this, on how to further improve the process so that we'll have more time, because as you know, we all also have our regular functions here at the consulates.
Finally, the Deputy Consul General offered assurance to fellow citizens in Hawaii and American Samoa while making a personal request in preparation for the next election.
Yes, I would just like to assure our kababayans, especially our kababayans in Hawaii and American Samoa, that we did our very best to ensure that we sent out the ballots to you within the election period, and also that for the next round of elections, from the registration period until the actual election, please check our website and our social media accounts, because that is where we put all the important information, from the list of registered voters to those whose mails were returned and those who need to inform us of their address because they listed the consulate as their address.
Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, I'm Alfred Acenas, 1 with 25.
Mahalo, Alfred. When we come back, in Japan, Flower Festival in Tokyo paints happy hues. And in Canada, Toronto Comic Arts Festival celebrates emerging artists. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. I'm Alan Basoyahe. Spring in Japan has sprung, painting the city with very happy hues. Eagle News correspondent Tyrannel Pilelu shows us around Showa Kinnan Park, where flowers have blossomed to everyone's delight. Take a look.
Hi! Today, Aki and I will go tulip watching. We're here in Showa Kinnan Park in Tachikawa City in the western part of Tokyo. Join us as we go around the place and enjoy springtime here in Japan. There's more to the sakura craze or the cherry blossom craze here in Japan when it comes to spring. In fact, after the cherry blossom season comes the wisteria and also the tulip season.
It's not a wonder why many people love springtime. Different kinds of flowers bloom particularly in this time of the year. The annual month-long flower festival held in this multi-purpose park draws a great number of visitors, both tourists and locals alike, in the area. Particularly this year, it opened in the last week of March with the cherry blossoms and will end with the tulips in the last week of this month. In this season, you will see tulips of all sorts of colors.
Showakinan Park in Tachikawa City in the western part of Tokyo, Japan. This is Tyronel Pililu together with Aki for Eagle News International, and we are 1 with 25.
Arigato gozaimashita, Tyronel. Let's head over to Canada. The Toronto Comic Arts Festival gathered enthusiasts, giving emerging comic writers and illustrators a venue to showcase their work. Eagle News correspondent Patricia Kadai has the details.
With great power comes great responsibility. Wise words of the uncle of fictional character Spider-Man, one of the many characters created by the Marvel Universe master Stan Lee. Today, here at the Toronto Reference Library, the annual 2019 Toronto Comic Arts Festival is happening, where fans of comic books, graphic novels, visual arts, and their creators from around the world walk and talk side by side. Hundreds of comic creators across the world assemble at the Toronto Reference Library to express their creative work to the comic lovers community.
So last year we had about 26,000 across all festival events. Based on my gut feeling this year, I think we're going to hit 27,000 this year. We have a real focus on creators who have a strong personal voice, who are working on their own properties, rather than a work for hire or a licensed property. We do have many creators here who have worked on licensed properties or are famous for their licensed properties, of course, but when they're here at the festival, they're here to celebrate the work that they own and the work that they've created. And through our various sort of programming areas, we support emerging artists as well.
TCAF is a great way to find artists you've never heard of before, as kind of what I just said. Even if you don't check out every single guest on the website, if you just come and walk around, you're going to find something very cool, something you've never seen before, something that really inspires you, that makes you want to pick it up and go, wow, I love art, I want to do art.
It's really good. I think just the differences in creators and just kind of from all levels, people that you may have known. I know some from just the books that my daughter is interested in, as well as brand new people that I'm getting to know here.
Unlike other comic conventions, the TCAF focuses on alternative and independent comics, including visual arts. This festival consists of art installations, gallery shows, vendor fair, workshops, and panel discussions, allowing creators to tell their stories in diverse voices and inspire future generations.
I just really love working with materials and experimenting, and I like that in comics you can really play around with both narrative and structure as well as visual language and communication. It's like just a really unique medium where you're really playing with all those different things.
The challenges I face, it would be the saturation of the market. There's a lot of illustrators, a lot of good illustrators out there, so it's really hard to kind of make a living very easily, so you really have to find different avenues to be unique.
Every year, the Toronto Comic Arts Festival brings comic creators from various countries together to celebrate their works and share their stories through interaction and genre appreciation with the fan community. For Eagle News, reporting from Toronto, Canada, this is Patricia Kadai, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Patricia. When we come back, in Texas, Edinburgh Teacher of the Year says families must be invested in child's learning. And in California, the Los Angeles Festival of Books takes young readers on a journey. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return shortly. This is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. I'm Alan Basoyahe. Giving importance to the role of parents and family members in helping ensure educational success of children in their households, IDEA Public Schools Teacher of the Year awardee Elizabeth Lasista Red said, involvement and being invested in a student's future is crucial. Eagle News correspondent Diane Pachon has the story.
Elizabeth Lasista Red is a wife and a mother living in Edinburgh, Texas. Her passion for helping others led her to a career in education.
I work for IDEA Public Schools. I am currently the team lead and science teacher for 5th grade. I am also the district course leader for 5th grade science.
In a recent survey by Wallet Hub, the South Texas Rio Grande Valley has the lowest percentage of high school graduates across the country. Elizabeth wanted to help make a difference for the school children in her community, so she became a teacher.
What inspired me to become a teacher was my love for helping others. Ever since I was younger, I always loved to help my friends, anyone that needed assistance. And as I was growing up, I saw that in South Texas, the children in our area were the ones that weren't receiving that same help, that same care. And I wanted to make a difference in our community, and that's what drove me to become a teacher in this area. The education system in South Texas, unfortunately, is not an ideal state. Many students drop out of college and high school and therefore are unable to attain their college degree. Luckily, there are school districts that have addressed those issues, and in the past 5 years, many school districts have opened new campuses, have started new programs to help those students succeed. Teachers in general face many challenges. I believe that the teachers in South Texas face very unique challenges compared to others because of our demographics when it comes to students finishing and attaining their college degrees. And so teachers down here are not only expected to teach in the classroom, but are also expected to make sure that parents and families are invested in their child's learning through open communication, through extra tutorial classes, just to ensure that their students are successful.
For years, she taught at IDEA Public School, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to helping students from pre-K to high school to not only graduate, but also enroll in college. In 2019, Elizabeth was awarded IDEA Public Schools Teacher of the Year.
I work in a school district where expectations are very high. Our campus has very high expectations for teachers. All the teachers on our campus are very hardworking, very diligent. The award was given based on a list of criteria such as record of results and parent and student involvement. When I discovered that I was the recipient of the Teacher of the Year award, I was very shocked and humbled. I have been working with IDEA Public Schools for 8 years, and I was not expecting to receive that reward. I am very grateful to my leaders for helping me get to this point in my career. In achieving this award and in completing all of the achievements I've done this year, I hope that my students will see me as a good role model, as an example to follow as they're growing up in the school system that we have here in South Texas. I hope that when they get to high school and college, that they don't give up and they look back at everything that we've gone through this school year and use that as an inspiration to achieve their dreams.
Reporting from Edinburgh, Texas, I'm Dayan Pasion, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Diane. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, speaking of education, books, books, and books delighted these kids at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books. Here's Arian Andrade for this week's Arts and Culture Update.
Thank you, Alan. Hi, everybody. I am Arian Andrade. Thank you for joining me for today's Junior News. Dr. Seuss said, reading can take you places you have never been before. If you read tons and tons of books, imagine how many places you can reach without having to leave your reading chair. It's like teleporting. Today, our Eagle News Junior correspondents, Seth, Eliana, and Gabby, will take us to the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books, where we will get to know bookworms and bibliophiles. Big words, huh? Not for these folks. Take a look.
Are you a bookworm? Or maybe a bibliophile? What's a bibliophile? If you love books, or just love spending the day out with the family, then the LA Times Festival of Books is where you'll find 150,000 people soaking up the sun, enjoying literature, and having fun.
So what's a bibliophile?
I don't know. What's a bookworm?
There are so many books, it was like a wonderland for everyone. Children had the opportunity to take photos with their favorite costume characters. Why did you come here today?
To buy some books and have fun.
I wanted to get a book so the author could sign my book.
Do you love reading books?
Yes,
Why do you love reading them?
because it's fun. I like to read the book because I want to read the house.
Scouring the campus, not only did we find a bunch of bookworms,
But we also found a very hungry caterpillar. Families took photos with the beloved character come to life. They even found his very cool car.
why are you here today?
Because I like books and this is really fun.
Do you like reading?
Yes,
Why?
because books are interesting. Getting to meet their favorite authors and going home with their books autographed by them was a highlight for many enthusiastic readers. Can you tell us about your books?
Yes, Bird and Squirrel is about a neurotic bird or neurotic squirrel who's afraid of everything, and a bird who isn't afraid of everything, and they became friends and they're traveling around the world on crazy adventures.
Well, Dork Diaries, we started writing it in 2009, and it's sold over 43 million copies, and it's in 42 languages all around the world.
Do you ever have writer's block?
I do have writer's block, and I go running or I go outside and I do a lot of activities to get through it.
Yes, I get writer's block. You just have to keep working really hard to figure out what the issue is so that you can, start writing freely again. So it happens sometimes, but I'm able to always get over it.
Can a kid like me be a writer someday?
Of course you can. You just have to do it and practice it and keep doing it.
All you have to do is just start writing stories now. Even though you're a kid, you can sit down and figure out an exciting story. It can be happy, it can be exciting, it can be kind of scary, and you just have to finish it. That's the hard thing about being a writer. You can always get really good ideas and you start writing, but then you get tired or bored, then you stop writing. So the most important thing is to finish the story and get to the very last page.
How do I become a better illustrator?
You become a better illustrator by practice. You draw pictures that you really like, and if you see an art style that you admire, you try to draw pictures that remind you of that art style, but don't draw too much like it. Try to make it be your own style, and then keep practicing until you become better and better.
Besides books, guests were treated to games, giveaways, music, and visits to the family fun zones.
Are you a bibliophile?
Well, if you are someone who loves to collect and read books, then you already know the answer.
Reporting from Los Angeles, California, I am Gabby Sakulis with Seth Perez and Eliana Sakulis, and we are 1 with 25.
Aw, wish I went with you guys. Thank you, Seth, Eliana, and Gabby. I am Arian Andrade, 1 with 25. Back to you, Alan.
Thanks, Aryan. Well, that is today's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Join us again next week for stories from our bureaus across the nation and around the globe. Visit our websites at Eaglenews.PH and Eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I'm Alan Basuyahe. I am 1 with 25.